Has your kid ever told you something like,
I don't want to go to practice?
Or has she ever been like,
I just wanted to chill today.
Maybe your child said something like this.
Softball sucks.
Or maybe she said something like this.
If she's not doing it, why do I have to do it?
Well, I'm here with my special guest, Zeva Wayland, my daughter, and we're going to go over all these things and more on this week's episode of The Bucket Dads.
It's that Bucket Dad energy. With the Bucket Dad, 40 and jacked in the stands, not a folding chair, nah, with a 6-gallon plan. Fastpitch is life, D1 is the mission. We push them hard, ain't no time for permission. From the weight room to the plate, we spit motivation. Yeah, we yell at the ump, but it's pure dedication. Got the podcast booming, the whole team listen. Big dudes, big hearts, and the scholarship glistening.
And as always, I'm the Rob Father.
And I'm Zeva the Diva.
And I'm a Bucket Dad.
And I'm a Bucket Kid.
In this week's episode of the Bucket Dads, we're going to do things a little differently. Big Dad Chad couldn't make it in studio, so we're going to do a Bucket Dad and Bucket Kid interview, basically talking about pitching and catching and how you get through the mental part of preparing yourself for the big games. First and foremost, this is my daughter Zeva. She couldn't make it in studio last week because she was sick. Luckily, we gave her lots of rest, chicken noodle soup, and a nice swift kick in the ass. And so now she's in the studio today. So we just got done doing some long toss down at the field because we thought we had a pitching lesson tonight and it got canceled. And so we were making the most of it. So I went and did a few buckets of long toss, right?
Yep.
And we decided to come on in and get a podcast done since we're a little off schedule from a sickness that took control of you and Abby and the rest of the team a few weeks ago. The schedule's been a little off. So we're going to talk about a few different things. As far as those situations where you're tired and you don't want to get up, you don't want to do it. How do you power through it? Like what separates girls on travel ball teams from girls on rec teams? Like as far as being able to show up, because pretty much almost everybody on your team would much rather go to practice any day, even if it's cold and shitty outside, than stay at home. I know, for example, you last week, you know, when I was giving her the option of staying home or going to practice, or the option of staying home and going to practice, it wasn't really an option. It was like she needed to stay home because she stayed home sick from school. So she kind of needed to stay home because she was pretty bad. But she wanted to go to practice. You wanted to go to practice too. And so like, what as far as the mindset that goes into wanting to practice all the time versus just play, like how much different is it from being like a rec or a C player to being a B player?
The difference from a rec player to a C level travel ball girl, like C level is a little bit more competitive than rec. It means a little bit more than rec. And then B level compared to rec level, really competitive. And then from B level to C level, that would be like a little bit of a jump up from C level. And yeah, but then from like rec to all the way to A level, that's a big jump. And if you're in rec level and you're hoping to get on an A level team, you might just want to try to get onto a C or a B or a CB team instead of an A team, because that's a big jump unless you're ready for that big jump.
Yeah, and by like A-level teams, she's talking about like showcase teams that pretty much don't even play locally. They're pretty much playing and traveling like outside the state, almost like national level teams, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, there's probably some at the 12U level. There's not a whole lot right now in our area. There might be a few. But actually, Zeva, I disagree with you a little bit. I think that there is actually a pretty serious jump from the C level to the B level, which is why they have a CB level, because there's such a big jump from C to B. If you take an average B team and an average C team and you have them go up against each other, like 18 times, 19 times out of 20, that B team's going to crush that C team, you know? So I don't know. Now you take a really good C team against a really bad B team.
Yeah.
then that might be more closer to like almost like a 50-50 flip, because if one team doesn't do very well that day and then the other team does do that well the day, it can happen. Like for example, when we played Prime, we played them last fall and they're a B team and they came out of the gate like kind of intimidating, because it's the second year B team, got some pretty big, beefy, big backs, with like put a lot of freaking weight training in. You could tell these girls were jacked, right? When I say big back, I do not mean fat girls. I mean
like muscular girls.
I mean jacked girls. All right. Some of the times you might hear kids or whatever interject big back as in like you're fat. Listen, big back does not mean fat in the softball world. Big back means you're jacked and able to hit home runs and pretty much knock girls out if you need to with an elbow. All right, some size. And there are some jacked girls on that team, but you guys are definitely faster. And we had pretty good pitching that game, if I remember correctly. I don't remember how well you did, but I know that Kaya, I think, did well, and so did Tavia. And did we end up beating that team? I don't know if we beat them, but we like came really close to beating them, like within a run, and it was like our first game in fall or something like that. Yeah. So, and they're supposed to be like a B level, not like a BC, and we came into that as like a BC team, maybe even a C team. So that gave us some confidence. Next question. When it comes to training and pitching regimens, what kind of advice can you give like these 10U girls that are starting to get into pitching as far as how much they really need to do it, how much they need to be doing it on their own?
Like how much they need to be pushing themselves?
Yeah, how much they need to push themselves. Like is once
like practice out of practice.
Yeah, and is like once a week with like a pitching coach enough, or is it in some cases enough, in other cases not enough?
So if you're in like 10U or like 8U, maybe like 2 to 3 times a week, but don't do it too much because then you might hurt your arm. And especially if you, after throwing, put some ice on your shoulder so it's not sore the next day. And for like 12U to 14U and up, I would probably say like about the same, but 3 to 4 times a week at least. And I would say that's probably good. Do the same thing with the ice and heat. Like if you have a heating pad or an ice pack, put it on your shoulder. I have this ice pack wrap for pitchers.
I'll put it right here on the screen.
Yeah.
So you guys can see it with an Amazon affiliate link if you want to get it for your kid. It's pretty awesome.
I use it sometimes. I don't really use it that much because after pitching, my arm's not usually that sore.
Then do you know why it's not sore?
Maybe because I'm not throwing enough.
Maybe because you have really great mechanics. And so therefore you don't have any soreness in your body whatsoever. That's usually, hey, seriously, that's the sign of good mechanics. If you can go through like a game or two of pitching, especially in situations where you're being called in as a reliever, where you don't have like 30 minutes to warm up. You just come in to throw like 4 or 5 pitches and then away you go. And then afterwards, your arm isn't sore at all. That means you got some good mechanics, and you can thank Scott Vandehei for that. Could you imagine if you were still monkey butting it and freaking doing hello elbow, how much your arm would be hanging? As far as telling them like pitching regiments, as far as like buckets of balls. Now, obviously, the younger levels are going to be pitching 11-inch balls, and once you're 12U and up, you're doing 12-inch balls. How many buckets of balls do you recommend that pitchers pitch per day, per pitch that they have? Like if they have a drop ball, how many buckets should they pitch for a drop ball? If they have a curve ball, how many should they do for a curve ball? What do you recommend is like a good pitch count?
What I usually do if I have like 31 balls in a bucket and I have like 2 to 3 pitches, I would probably pitch like 1 bucket or like 2 buckets per pitch if I'm throwing 4 buckets. And then if I only need to throw 3 and I have 2 to 3 pitches, basically do the same thing, only throw like a bucket per pitch. But if you have 2 pitches and you're only going to throw 3 buckets, another thing you could do is like do 1 bucket for each and then like mix them up every couple and like try to do it evenly for 2 pitches.
Okay. Now, one of the things you do when you warm up that your coach has been trying to tell you to do is always pitch with what?
Intention.
That's right. Can you explain to these people what that means?
Intention is pretty much like trying to do your best and not like giving up, like doing like this and like giving up. And you want to throw like this is the last game, the winning ball, the last pitch for every single rep. And it's better to have better quality reps than quantity of reps.
I also think that with intent, it also means that whenever you throw a ball, you are trying to always hit a spot no matter when, no matter if you're just warming up or if you're in the middle of walkthroughs or if you're even just screwing around with a friend. There's no such thing as really screwing around. Whenever you do an underhand pitch, whenever you even do an overhand pitch, as you do your reps in practice, every single rep should always be with intent. You should always be trying to like hit a stitch on a glove or hit a spot or a mark on the freaking chest protector or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? Don't ever throw just the throw. And the other thing is if you have a pitcher like Zeva and you're having them do live BP to your batters, do not have them throw over the middle of the plate. Yeah, sure, it helps the batters hit, but if you want that to happen, then you should be getting like a coach or paying another player from another team to come in and do that. You do not want to condition your pitchers to get used to pitching over the middle of the freaking plate for batting practice.
You do not want your pitchers to be able to throw a middle fastball right over the plate, but you do not want to throw them that often because in higher levels, they're just going to crush the ball all the way to the fence because that's the home run ball.
Yeah, you pretty much, if you're going to throw a middle fastball over the plate, it better be over the bottom of the plate or right over the top middle. It better not be right down freaking Main Street. And that's the problem is that you'll get batting practice with like these different coaches. And what will happen is you'll have girls that are struggling. And most of the time they're struggling, it's because of two things. It's either because they're not loading and striding properly. Their timing is off. That's usually one thing.
Or they're far away from the plate.
Or they're far away from that's actually three things. Or they're far away from the plate. That's a real good point. That's a real big common problem that we have.
Lots of girls are standing like
in the middle of the box or further back.
Like in the middle of the box or like all the way to the outside of the box.
Yeah.
Or like right up against the line.
Yeah, and just for those of you that don't understand, like, oh, well, it's the middle of the box. Listen, get online, watch some college games, watch some travel ball, like elite, like championship games from like the Colorado Sparkler.
Because if you're in the middle of the batter's box, the end of your bat is probably going to be over the center of the plate.
Yeah, especially when you're like barely 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
There's no freaking way in hell that you're going to hit an outside pitch if you're standing in the middle of the box. And guess what? There's girls that stand even further than the middle of the box. There's girls that sometimes stand with their heels almost on the outside of the freaking line of the box.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if I'm a coach and I see that, or like I have it set up with my catcher, which is what the smart coaches do. There's a signal from the catcher that lets them know if they're on the inside or the outside, or they can inside or the outside of the box. They have like a signal that they can pass. As soon as the coach understands that they're on the outside or the inside edge, that changes everything. If they're on the inside edge, then you run them inside and you freaking jam them. If they're on the outside edge, you just live on the freaking outside edge all day. And they're never going to hit that ball. They're never going to hit the ball. Their bats aren't long enough. And almost always at the younger levels, girls are not barely even stepping straight, let alone in on a pitch. They're usually stepping out of the box, stepping in the bucket, you know?
And one drill that you could do if your players are continuously stepping out of the box, put like a chair or some like wooden plank or something behind their heels. So if they like step outside of the box or like step their foot towards the dugouts, they're probably going to fall over on their butt.
Yeah. Yeah. There's sometimes they put buckets behind people and they call it stepping in the bucket. But yeah, the wooden plank thing works.
I've tripped one time on a chair.
You know what else works? I mean, this is kind of a rough thing to do. I probably wouldn't do this, but I've seen the drills where, the girls are having a hard time like rounding like bases. And so the coach will get everybody's cell phone together and they'll go put the cell phones right in the middle of the base because you're supposed to hit the inside corner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, once the freaking cell phones go in the middle of the base, guess what the girls stop doing?
stepping in the middle of the base.
Damn right. Damn right. They all are just hugging that inside corner after that. Well, I'm not saying you should do this, but
Some coaches,
if you can't get girls to stop stepping up, maybe you might want to put a freaking phone or something like that behind them. Don't do that. You didn't hear that from me. I'm just saying. All of a sudden, people start paying special attention when something valuable is at jeopardy, or they have to do like a lot of push-ups or sit-ups or something like that.
Yeah.
Like Zeva is one of those people that like you can tell her all day long to focus and do this and do that. But until you threaten her with some type of serious freaking conditioning, and I don't mean kind of serious, because if you tell her it's just a couple push-ups at this point in time, it's not a big deal. But you got to make it like 10 push-ups or 20 push-ups for her to like make it a big deal. So,
more like 15.
And so now we're turning it into wall sits because she hates them, but anyway, and then I started talking about those two of the three main points. One is they have bad timing. 2 is they're lined up wrong on the box. And then 3 is they dip their back shoulder when they swing. And they dip the back shoulder when they swing too early because they're not striding with the front shoulder down.
That, and also they're probably trying to hit a home run.
Yeah, exactly. So what happens is you get these problems, back to what we were just talking about. You get these problems, and as a coach, you want to try to build confidence with your player because, it's batting practice. You don't want them to just leave empty-handed. And so what you get in the habit of is saying, hey, so-and-so, Emma, Jenny, Heather, whatever their name is, give her something she can hit. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Look at every single at-bat as a new at-bat. You have 2 strikes, 3 balls before a walk happens or a strikeout happens.
Yeah.
You should let your pitchers every single time be going into situational stuff like that. Remember, always have them pitch with intent. If you're having them at all start to wire their brains to try to give them something they can hit, there is a chance you might not just reprogram the muscle memory, you might reprogram the synaptic freaking linkage, and all of a sudden they're in a game and something just flips a switch and now all of a sudden they throw something they can hit because they need a strike.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't fall in that trap.
Yeah.
All right.
Paint the corners.
Yeah. If your player can't hit the damn ball, then pull them out of the freaking thing and give them some machine pitch or give them some other freaking like coach pitch or something like that. Do not make your freaking ace pitchers and your top pitchers all of a sudden start feeding them meatballs in practice. Yeah. Don't do that. Now let's talk about the different pitches you have because, it's kind of weird, as far as like different pitchers and like the kind of the rule of thumb when it comes to pitching, like if you get on forums or anything like that, in groups, they usually say that you don't get to learn a second pitch until you master a pitch. Yeah. And by mastering, they're probably thinking like throw it for 80% strikes. Now, I will say this. You haven't really usually been able to throw a pitch for 80% strikes always. If you are, because there's no secret, you're ADHD, you take medication. If you're on medication and you're warmed up, you can throw a pitch for 80% strikes. Yeah. Which is one of the reasons why I believe Scott has let you learn so many pitches so quick, because when you're on, you're like you're rock solid. You can hit anything. But then there's situations where if you're off, shit. I mean, I could probably do better. You know what I mean? But to talk to the parents out there and the kids out there, because right now I think you're at like 6 different pitches, 4 of which there's actually like 2 sets of 2s. So you have a fastball
and change up.
Yeah, hold on. You have a fastball and a drop ball. Yeah. And then you have a rise ball and a rise curve. Yeah. But you also have a curve ball and you also have a change up, right? So it's kind of strange because what you guys don't realize is because she has a 12-6 spin on her drop ball. On a fastball, it's a drop ball. But the way that the drop ball works is that if you don't throw it flat, then what happens is that if you throw it with a little bit of a high arc, it flattens out, but it only maybe has like 2 inches of drop. But if you throw it flat and low, then it has like 10 to 12 inches of drop, right? So what pitches did you learn and in which order, and where are we at now, and what new pitches do you have on the horizon? Because you're basically just a badass bitch when it comes to spinning, pretty much, right? Yeah. You're like a spin doctor, right? You're like a queen of spin. You have girls that, have a lot of heat, and you're not slow by any means, but you're definitely not in that elite like velocity, but you definitely have a lot of spin pitches. So why don't you go over with them and tell them about your pitches?
So first, I learned a fastball before I started playing travel ball. And my first year playing softball was when I started playing rec. And I never played t-ball or little league or anything like that because I never really wanted to until my grandpa, my dad's dad, talked to me saying, Zeva, you should try softball. And I was like, maybe. And then he convinced me and I started playing softball. I learned my fastball. And then when I went to Blaze tryouts for the first time, I was pitching at the last little bit of the tryout. And then Gary, one of the assistant coaches on our team, he came over and he was like, what pitches do you have? And I said, I only have a fastball. Then he was like, oh, well, let me teach you a changeup. And then that's when I learned my very first changeup, the horseshoe changeup. And it's basically like a Lego hand and you're just releasing it. And that was the first changeup I learned. So it was fastball, then changeup. Then I learned, I think, a curveball. And then we came over to Scott Van de Hey. And instead of a horseshoe changeup, he taught me the slip change, which it's kind of similar, but it's kind of like a drop ball. And it kind of drops right at the plate. And it basically just lands directly on the plate. Batters swing over the top. Never usually under it. They're usually just swinging over the top because it starts out like flat and then it drops like right at the last second. It's a really easy pitch to learn. You just come like I just started doing W's and so you're here, then you just twist your arm, come forward, kind of and then I just learned my rise ball. So that was my 5th pitch, but I just recently learned my rise.
Now, let's back up a little bit. So the natural progression was that when you're throwing a fastball, it naturally has like a bullet spin to it, right? Yours did for a long time.
Yeah, for a while.
And then once we got your brush contact down, your brush trigger through Scott.
It was line and dot.
Yeah.
So it was
like
so on my arm, I would draw like a line like that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have a line right here. Like just like a black Sharpie or Expo marker or any kind of marker line. And I would draw that whenever I was having like some pitching lesson or if I was pitching at home, I would always draw that line and a little big fat dot. So it would be cover the dot, cover or
brush and cover.
It's brush the dot, cover the line.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you learned a fastball, then the horseshoe change, and the fastball was a bullet spin fastball. Then after the horseshoe change, you learned a curveball. At the same time, you were learning a drop ball, which is basically making sure that your fastball turned into a drop ball from a bullet spin.
I'm pretty sure I learned the slip change before. Maybe I'm wrong. But
you know what? I don't know. You may have learned the slip change before, but the problem is that it didn't sit. And so what happened was when we just got you on slow motion the other night, we found out that you were throwing more like a horseshoe looking change up and not a true slip change.
Yeah.
Like a Lisa Fernandez style slip change. So we've been working heavily on the Lisa Fernandez thing of like throwing your shoulder, then your elbow, then your wrist follows, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like you're hulking up and like falling over, trying to throw a ball as hard as you possibly can, and it ends up coming out as slow as possible, right? So, and then once we got all that stuff done,
I learned my rise ball.
Yeah, and then
I just learned that like a month ago.
Yeah, and now what happened with the rise? What happened with the rise? Why? Because you have a rise, and then you have a rise curve.
Okay.
And the two are different, right?
Pause there. So first I learned my rise. I only like made that one of my pitches like a month ago. It was a struggle to get it because there was like I had to use this yellow disc. We'll just post it right up there.
Yeah, for those of you that would like this yellow disc, it's great for learning spin pitches like curveballs and rise balls. And buying this through our Amazon affiliate link in the description below because it's a little chunk off your purchase. It doesn't cost you anything. It just helps us out. So
yeah, and then I also had to use a softball that had like a red, like was half red and half yellow, and Scott. He drew half of it, and when I was throwing it, it kept on getting Abby's glove all red, and
Interesting.
it left pink on it
I
because
didn't
I
know
was
that.
snapping it so hard.
Oh, that's so funny.
And it was popping in her glove. And
What other pitching tools have you used to help with your pitching, like as far as spin pitches and stuff like that? Because we're gonna put them on up here if you list them on off.
I've used the yellow cushion.
Oh, the push cushion for drive and like balance and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really awesome tool, guys. This thing right here, dude, I'm telling you, they're cheap. Get them. They will drastically help out your launch and your overall calf and ankle strength for your for your pitchers. It just makes them a lot more stable on the launch, and it's great for I guarantee if you use this for like 2 weeks, you're going to see at least a 2 mile an hour improvement in 2 weeks just from using this one thing.
And your calves are going to get way stronger.
Oh yeah.
Have you already shown the swing analyzer?
We're talking about pitching.
Oh.
We're talking about pitching.
Well,
she's such a squirrel sometimes, people. This ADHD kid over
well,
here.
it's still softball.
If she's in the circle, don't worry about it. She's locked in. But if she's talking about life in general or softball, I don't know. Could be anything. What about the balls that we got to help you learn how to throw spin pitches?
Oh.
Like the one that helped you learn how to throw a curveball. And like Gary has said that you have like the best 9 to 3 o'clock rotation he's ever seen. And that varsity pitchers that he's seen don't even have curveball spin like you have. Like, what did you use?
So I used these, we call them watermelon balls.
Yes, we do.
They're half green and half pink.
They're called Easy Rises, and they're right here. We have 3 different links on our site. We have the one for the 12-inch, the one for the 11-inch, and the link for the combo pack where you buy them both at the same time. We bought them both at the same time because she was in 10U. They're kind of expensive for being what they are, but there's no knockoffs or anything else like it on the market, and they work great. They work great. You can use them indoors. You can use them freaking during the pool. Just make sure that you push out all the water. Don't let your dog chew them. All right. Because the dog will puncture them because they are foam. They're like a heavy, dense foam with like a core in the middle. But dude, if you want your kid to learn how to throw spin pitches,
that's what you use.
That's what you use. They use those and the discs and maybe some flat, like other balls or balls with like, lines on them. But these spin balls, you will not get as a immediate spin impression using anything else but these. You can see them spin from a mile away, and it makes the girls get excited because they can see the ball move.
Yeah, it's really fun because you can see like just the line in between them, in between the colors, and they're just really good for spin work. And
they're just fun to play with too, because you can play with them in the car. And you just like snap the ball in the car, and you can just like spin them in the back seat.
Yeah.
So if you're like going on like a trip, and like they're getting sick and tired of using the gyro ball that we just did last episode, you just give them the spin ball and just snap them, spin them.
Yeah.
I mean, those things are awesome, And not only that, they're great for overhand too. Like let's say you have a girl that is throwing and she's kind of throwing it like a football, and you want to get that backspin. Gripping one of these freaking Easy Rise balls, they're going to learn how to pronate and how to get that backspin at a much faster rate than they will if they use any other ball.
Yeah.
So same thing with the discs too. You throw the discs, you can get immediate.
Oh yeah.
The discs are great.
I like to call them cheese wheels because if you roll them on the ground, they look like a rolling cheese wheel.
They do. Cheese wheels.
Or like a coin or something.
Okay, let's transition now for first year going like 10U, like they just played rec. This is the first year. What can they expect going into the season? How crazy is it going to get? How much
if they're jumping
work?
up from rec?
Yeah.
It gets a little crazy because there's a lot of traveling because it's going like from Hillsborough or Beaverton all the way to Salem, but it's worth it, honestly. If your kid loves like throwing like dodgeball or something at school, you should get them into softball because they'll really love it.
Okay. How often do practices happen outside of normal practices for you? Like once the season starts, I know you guys are practicing twice a week. Some teams practice 3 times a week, but typically how often does your team like have practices on like Saturdays and Sundays? How often do you do practices during the week with other teammates outside of practice?
We don't usually do practices on Sundays and Saturdays, but sometimes we do. We do like a sandlot style. We get some girls, bring them over to a dirt field, and we just do sandlot style, never ending.
Which tournaments are you looking most forward to this year with your team?
I'm excited for the Seaside tournament because that's when most of the girls like really hang out. And then I'm mostly excited for going down to the Bend because we're all going to be in the same complex. So we're going to, I forgot the name of the hotel, but it's a really great place. They give you free coffee, and my favorite part about it is they actually have hot tubs.
Yes, they do have hot tubs.
They have 3 different hot tubs. There's like a little one.
And it's 7th Mountain is the name of it.
7th Mountain, yeah. So there's 2 full pools, and then there's like a little kiddie pool. And then there's 2 hot tubs, 2 like circle ones. And then there's this other hot tub that's like, if you would like take a figure 8, but like not really figure 80, like a little bit thicker in the center where it crosses. And it's really awesome. And then one of my other favorite parts is because, you know, in like regular hotels, how they give you like a little scanny card that you put against the door handle, like right above it, and it unlocks it. But instead of a key card, they give you wristbands that have the chip for the door inside of the bracelet.
Yeah.
And that was one of my favorite parts about that whole hotel.
Yeah, that place is pretty badass.
Yeah.
And it's 7th Mountain. It's it's going to be great. Which teams are you looking forward to battling against the most this year? Give me your top 3 teams.
Honestly, I love all the teams that we battle. I'm excited for just the competition and like meeting all the new teams, playing against them, striking them out.
All right. That's fair enough.
And I'm just excited for the competition and stuff.
Okay.
It's going to be fun.
Hell yeah.
Go Blaze.
Go Blaze. All right. Well, on that note, you know, I guess we're going to call it. So we are going to have a great guest coming on the show this next podcast. Be dropping sometime Wednesday next week. And we got some other coaches lined up. But just stay tuned. We got some more great episodes coming to you. And I just want to thank you for, you know, coming on the show in a short notice. Unfortunately, Chad couldn't make it because of scheduling issues and stuff like that. And we're trying to squeeze in one because our timing's been off. It's more on me than it is on Chad. And I'm sorry that he couldn't be here, and so is he, but it is how it is. And I'm sure that he's going to have his episodes where I'm not on here either because something crazy happens in our life. You know, we're not full-time podcasters here. That being said, you guys have a great, rest of your week, and peace out until next time. Later.